Hello, and welcome to Recapping with Delora
and Ashley.
Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Recapping Podcast.
Also, rate, review, and subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast platform. We're on all the things.
We want to hear your thoughts on the movies and shows we review.
Leave us a comment on Apple Podcasts or our YouTube channel, and we will read them during the show.
Or reach out to us on social media. We love talking all things entertainment and pop culture with you.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you.
Well, hello, Miss Delora. How are you today?
I'm great. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm rested. I'm rejuvenated. I went to my first women's retreat. Thank you so much to Miss Tavia Sumter and Women of Excellence for hosting me and my mom and the other fabulous ladies that we got a chance to be with. We got some massages, got some facials, had some workshops, had a personal chef. You know, it was all the things. So
wow,
it was a good time.
Absolutely.
So we gotta add that to our itinerary for the future, Delora, for the things that we will be doing.
Period. We are going to be in some cabins on some beaches, some luxe hotels. I'm all for it.
Telling you that personal chef, though, guys, y'all don't understand. That's the life I need to live.
Right. Like that's where I need to be. That's where I belong. How about that?
That's the budget. That's the goal budget right there.
Yes, that is on Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Well, before we started rolling, I was singing Love by Nat King Cole because I feel like that was such a great song that could have kicked off our recap for today. I know they played it at the beginning of one of our faves, The Parent Trap, but
yes,
this feature, this series that we've teased on our last episode is another Jenny Han vehicle. It is EXO Kitty. We get to follow the baby of the Covey sisters this time on her quest to find true love. EXO Kitty was released on Netflix on May 18th, 10 half-hour episodes, and it has been officially renewed for a second season already, as we discussed. Created by Jenny Han, as I mentioned. Let's get into this cast. We have Anna Cathcart back as Kitty. We have Choi Min-young as Day. This was a recast on Day because I had to go back and watch that
the same
third
young man?
movie. It is not the same young man. So they did a recast just like they did with the third to, was it third or second to All the Boys I Loved Before? Because remember the one guy that they recast with?
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
So they did a little switcheroo on this as well, in case y'all didn't notice. Gia Kim as Yuri. Anthony Kivon as Q. Q was such a cutie.
First of all, Q is a heartbreaker. Goodness gracious. It's face card never declines. Okay.
Yes.
Those lips, sir. Congratulations to your parents or something. I don't know.
Such a cutie. Sang Hyun Lee as Minho. Peter Thurnwald as Professor Alex Finnerty. Yoonjin Kim as Principal Lim. Michael K. Lee as Professor Lee. And Reagan Aaliyah as Juliana. Reviews. Rotten Tomatoes, 82% critic score, 58% audience score, but 90% of Google users gave this a thumbs up. Delora, what is your grade for EXO Kitty?
All right, Ashley, my grade for EXO Kitty is a B. We love a good high school moment. We love all the, the girliness of the show, finding your first love, having crushes, finding yourself. I love all of that. I also really enjoy that this is like legit American/Korean show, like having to read subtitles, and it really helps engage in the story and them being able to I don't want to say flex their culture, but in some ways, it is very prominent, and I love that about it. A lot of directions to go in when it comes to her love life, so I'm interested to see what our conversations are gonna be in terms of who we're rooting for. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how the story continues.
I just realized I have no grade written down for this series, but in my heart, it's somewhere in the B plus genre as well. Because again, this was a hidden gem for me. It was so delightful when I watched it through the first time. It was so light to me in terms of just content and things that I had been watching. And I didn't expect this expansiveness into like Kitty's story because, you know, we had really the focus on Laura Jean and Peter throughout the All the Boys I Loved Before series. We didn't ever really focus that much on even Margot. So
Right.
to get this deep dive in with Kitty as a series, to your point, instead of just movies, was interesting and gave opportunity for us to get to know her better. And she's so adorable and she's so enthusiastic, and she's just like a lovely main character to like follow at like her age. She's so joyful, and I enjoyed that about her. And then to your point, getting to go into a culture that she's discovering more about through trying to uncover more about her mother, getting to study abroad, all that just made it a very interesting, fun experience as an audience. And I have to say, big shout out to the series that came before this that proved probably that American audiences would still enjoy and gravitate to this content and would read through subtitles, you know, like the Squid Games and all those. Like,
right.
Yes, we will still enjoy something that is not necessarily American based.
Well, just so you know, that has been a part of like industry news in the last few years anyway, playing to the huge Asian market of, you know, South Korea and China. I mean, let's not forget the iconic Parasite was a Korean film, as well as some of the more popular TV and movies we've seen in the last couple of years. They've been really kicking some butt and taking some names.
They have been. They have been. And I'm sure Jenny acknowledges all of that fully. Really enjoyed this ride. Kitty does have a lot going on, though, and I'm ready to get into it. So, spoiler alert, guys. Let's get into the good of XO Kitty. It is Kitty's junior year of high school, if you can believe it. She's so grown. And she's applied for a scholarship to her late mom's alma mater, KISS boarding school in Seoul, South Korea. Wants to learn more about her and, big and, cap and, be close to her long distance boyfriend, Day. She's been dating this little boy for like 3-4 years. Long distance.
Way too long for someone at her age, personally.
Right? I was like, y'all been dating as children for this long. Adorable.
And like taking it serious, like being monogamous and everything.
In love. So, what did you think of Kitty's presentation and chat with her father about permission to go to this school and go to Seoul, South Korea?
Well, obviously it was unrealistic considering she agreed or accepted on the phone without any parental guidance, right? And then for her to make that PowerPoint, I mean, I appreciate her leadership and her authority. You know, her presentation skills were on point. But if we boil it down to its essence, it was her wanting to be with her boyfriend. And as a parent who doesn't have a teenager, but will one day, there is no way on this green earth I would have said yes to that.
Right. Because after he agreed, he was like, did I just agree to let my teenage daughter go have sex with her boyfriend? Essentially.
I don't see myself being as strict as my parents were, but what we're not going to do is follow a boy anywhere. That is not.
Well, especially without a parent going with her. Like,
yes,
if we're agreeing to let you go study abroad, then I must be in a career and in a job that allows me the flexibility to go with you. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not
this
shipping.
Is for a whole year.
It's for an entire school year. Yeah. And granted, it is a boarding school. Let me be specific about that. So it's not like she's going somewhere and she's staying off campus. Like, it's a boarding school. She's staying on campus, all those things. But I'm going with my child. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not shipping my 16-year-old. Especially after the horror stories Paris Hilton has told. No. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, no. So I'm not shipping my 16-year-old child off to a foreign country to figure it out. Like, that's not happening. And to your point, yes, it's TV. So of course they said yes. And she somehow was able to forge her father's signature to ever even apply. I don't know how that supposedly worked.
How did that work?
Yeah.
And honestly, I do respect and I acknowledge that she wanted to attend a school where her mother attended, considering she hadn't spent that much time with her, you know? Yes. And so I do respect that, but you would have to be living under a rock to think that her little boo didn't have, major merit in her wanting to go.
Speaking of young love, were you happy to hear that Laura Jean and Peter are still together despite the distance between them that we saw at the end of To All the Boys I Loved Before trilogy? Because Laura Jean had decided to go to school in New York and Peter was staying in California.
Of course. Do your thing. Don't up in your life for a boy. That is just my cardinal rule. And again, not to say that a person could not be worth it. I am not saying that, but I just think it's very important for young women to explore their full potential before being locked down.
For sure. You just never know what's going to happen in life and what opportunities will come from trying new things and making connections and all of that. So you never know. And maybe Peter's going to relocate to New York as well after he's done in college. You never know. But I was super excited because I didn't know, it was left mysterious as to whether or not those crazy kids would make it. So I was happy to hear for sure that they're still together. So Kitty could have called Day and told him, hey, listen, I made it. I'm coming. I'll be there soon. Nope. She decides she wants to surprise this boy, when she gets there. And so he has no idea that she got into the school or that she's come into Seoul. And unfortunately, her surprise did not go exactly as planned because she pops up at the little welcome party and Day has a whole girlfriend named Yuri. Same girl who had given Kitty a ride earlier that day after her driver hit her in the street. Side note, I love how Kitty overslept for the welcome party, but still had time for her full beauty routine. Did you notice that? I'm like, so you even got time to watch YouTube tutorials, even though you overslept your alarm?
Of course. That's the beauty of rom-coms. Yes. Everyone lives in the most adorable apartments with the fabulous wardrobe, but in realistic terms, jobs that don't pay sugar honey iced tea, right?
Or you're a prostitute and a multi-millionaire falls in love with you. When we talked about the Walk of Fame last week, that's what I thought of. I was like, no wonder Julia Roberts don't want a star. She was on that corner. She was working that corner in her first major role.
She probably is like, I have better things to spend my money on. Exactly. She was like, what I'm not going to do is get caught up in this Hollywood fluff. For what? For who? Who are you doing it for after a while?
She been living her best life with old Danny. She don't need it. She's Julia Roberts.
Right? Still don't know what her kids look like because she is like, I am not about to put them front and center.
So this whole Yuri Day situation is a lie. Yuri is wealthy and the daughter of the school principal. She makes a deal with Day to pay for his school tuition so they can have a fake relationship to cover for her real one with her girlfriend, Juliana. Day's father is actually their family chauffeur. Yuri was, in my opinion, like cold-blooded, though, with the way she handled things. What did you think of their arrangement?
Well, as you know, I'm a huge fan of fiction and I adore fake dating trope. It is everything I love and more. Granted, usually it's me rooting for the couple. And in this case, I was not, right? Yuri, to me, is a product of her environment. It is cold as ice, right? Like, we do things to make sure we look great in public, and we, behind closed doors, we do whatever we want to our heart's content. But, image is everything.
Waspy, so waspy.
Woo! Woo! You said that. You said that, not I. But of course, that's also a trope too. It's like ice cold rich family, poor warm family, full of love.
For sure. For sure. I think what bothered me too was Day's like deer in the headlights about the whole situation. Like, don't act like you don't have any say in your own situation. Like, I get that you needed the money. I get that this is rough for you from a financial perspective, but you still have some agency over yourself and over the situation. Stop letting that girl drag you around everywhere. Like, that was starting to get on, like, physically dragging him around places.
But he was a sweet boy.
He was a sweet boy, but you don't have to be that sweet. Be like, hey, get off. I'm gonna tell you one more time, get off me, let me go. But stop touching. He had a lot
on the line. He not only had his tuition to consider, he had his dad's employment. He didn't want to piss off,
and that's facts. And also his little sister. Like, he was the scene where she had the shoes that were like sole was out and he had to put tape on them. I was like, bro, this is a lot. This is a lot for me to shoulder as the older brother of the family.
Yep.
So I understood, but at the same time, I did want him in a couple scenes to have a backbone and be like, Yuri, listen, I'm gonna tell you, put your hands on me one more time. Like, in another twist, Kitty is mistakenly assigned to the guys' dorm and is roomies with Day and his friends Minnow and Q. Do you think you would have stayed in a guy's dorm if you had been misassigned? Do you think you would have just rolled with it?
Well, in Katie's case, her other option was absolutely important. So, yeah, I would have stayed with the guys.
It's not even to that point yet. It's just kind of like, what we gonna do? Are we gonna live with this situation? Or are we gonna, because she's not the one who tells the truth. Minnow is the one who snitches on her.
Yeah, I know. That's a great question. I mean, I don't know. I think that's what made the show fun. So in the situation of entertainment, yeah, I would have stayed. And they seem fairly clean. So why not?
Teenage girl me, I'm not getting reassigned. Like, I will absolutely stay with y'all. That's gonna be fun.
They are all cuties. Cuties now.
I will absolutely stay with y'all. No problem.
But I would have had it set up the way they did. Like, Q stays with me.
Yes.
And
yes. Still gotta have some decorum. A little bit. Day gets dragged in even deeper with Yuri and her fam when they offer him an internship and use him as a PR stunt at a press conference following poor behavior by her father towards his employees that was caught on camera. My thought with this, though, and the way this was pitched was, wouldn't this have been seen more as favoritism than philanthropy? Because, like, you're giving us an internship to your chauffeur's son.
Yeah, I agree with your statement, but at the same time, I mean, because we didn't know how much he was getting paid and what the responsibilities were. I don't know. It was so much of a PR stunt that it was like, whatever, just get in front of it and here's our poster boy, so to speak,
I guess it could be seen as like, well, look how well I treat my employees and I'm willing to give an employee's child an opportunity, that sort of thing. But I was just like, I mean, it's not like he's going out into the community and finding someone additionally in need. Like, that was just my thoughts when I watched it.
Low-hanging fruit. Yeah.
Exactly. But also about this whole NDA situation. I don't know the laws of South Korea, but how do you enforce an NDA signed by a minor? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a child.
Actually, you're thinking way too hard.
Probably.
Teenage high school drama.
So I was like, Day, you 16 years old. They cannot legally enforce that. You would have to have parent or guardian of that minor also sign that document.
Again, I'm not familiar with South Korean law, but they just changed their birth dates recently. They're now on the international system of aging because they used to call, birth year one.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
What a fascinating tidbit. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Kitty was high-key being bullied in the first days of school. Other students dubbed her the Portland Stalker. Was she a stalker?
People are miserable. Okay. We know her intentions.
We know her heart.
We knew her heart. However, it is a lot. It is a lot to not even tell him and just show up like, hey, we're going to be in the same school for a whole year together. But yeah, people are doing too much. And she was the American. It was just, again, low hanging fruit, I feel like.
It was such a stark contrast too between the Kitty that we knew from the movies. Because remember, Kitty in school was like super popular. Remember that one scene with Laura Jean where she was like, yes. Laura Jean, I'm here because I love you and I want to like be here for you. I had to turn down offers to hang out tonight. So like Kitty in America is popular. She be doing her thing. And then on the academic side as well, this was hard because Kitty was smart, she said, in America, but in South Korea, struggling.
I actually love this conversation because, you know, we do have an American exceptionalism attitude. And whenever someone wants to have a real conversation, it's like, you're bashing America. It's like, we are one of the youngest countries, you know, the youngest out of like the big ones. We could probably learn a few thing or two, i.e. maternity leave, i.e. as you mentioned, education. Like there's more, you know, based off how we learn about the world, you would think America was in the middle of the world. We
bought into our own hype.
We have.
Because even Kitty was like, oh my gosh, you want me to be a tutor? No, you need tutoring. She was shocked.
What I always say, everywhere else in the world, people know more than one language.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we go out expecting people to speak English.
I can speak Spanish un poco, you know. It's a damn shame. I took Spanish in high school and in college, and I'm not fluent. That's a damn shame. I'll get it together eventually. But yes, it was good that they highlighted it though, because it's probably so valid. So after discovering a hospital bracelet in her mother's things, Kitty is convinced that her mom had a secret child. She breaks into the records room at the local hospital to find out more. I was so worried about this girl. I was like, girl, you're about to get arrested and you are not a citizen of this country. You cannot just go breaking in places.
You really can't. And actually, it's quite terrifying when people be breaking the rules, even for minor crimes. And this isn't far from minor.
They will put you in a labor camp. They will cut off your hands. They will do all sorts of things to you in other countries. Now, again, this is lighthearted. This is fluff. But y'all don't be breaking in places when y'all go in other countries, please. Her mom was listed as giving birth to a baby boy in 1993 that was adopted to parents in Australia. And she has a hunch it's her young tenderoni Professor Finnerty.
So cute. Why is everybody cute in this show, though? Like, because it's everybody.
Because it's TV. But when he starts speaking that Australian accent, I was like, oh, God.
Right?
I'm not even an accent person, but it hit me.
Right? And he looks like he could be a student, too, which doesn't help.
Yes. Let's go back to this dorm situation for a second. So they did end up switching Kitty to move into the girls' dorms, but her roommate was a slob kebab who gained constantly. Nice. I mean, them's the facts. And I was thinking when I saw her game, I was like, when did she even go to class? Like, it seems like it seemed like she was so focused. Like, she didn't even have time to clean the room, eat, nothing. I mean, their room was disgusting when Kitty walked in there. And Kitty couldn't even sleep. The final straw was Minho discovering that her roommate had filmed her sleeping and put it on some random website. She moved back in against school rules with the guys. But I want to talk about this because I feel like it was the adults that completely failed her in this situation.
Absolutely. Yeah, with the initial mix up, her surname is like traditionally male. So that's how she got assigned in the first place. But I agree. No one thought they could step up. And all you could tell me is there's no more room at the end, so to speak. Like, yeah, no, thank you. I need for y'all to do something. At least confront this young lady.
That's it right there. Like nobody wanted to come check on if a student is saying she can't sleep, she can't study, she can't function. Y'all are not gonna go check in on the living situation, make that girl clean up the room, make sure the room is livable. Because I imagine they would have bugs and like it was disgusting. Yes. And so in this case, it's like forget the rules, kitty. No one blames you for going and moving back into a livable situation. Halfway through the season, it's Chuseok, essentially Korean Thanksgiving. We got to see a kinder side to Minho, who had been not nice to Kitty. I mean, he had really been like her enemy. He actually helped her by cooking for a Friendsgiving that Kitty decided to do. That was about to be a disaster, by the way. That whole grocery store scene, I was like, what you got to do with all these fish?
What you said, Google and a positive attitude. So, two things to that, Ashley. One, I love Minho from the beginning because when he gave his little stinky attitude, speaking of favorite tropes I adore enemies to lovers. And I'm like, why is he always checking up on her? Why would he even take the time? You know, like, how did you find this stream? Like, you know what I
mean? Exactly. And he never answered because when Dave was like, how'd you find this?
And then when he took the time to cook the entire dinner, I was like, oh, yeah, he's falling.
But you know what's funny? I agree with her for a minute. Like, how does he know how to cook? And I was like, he's on his own so much. Of course he learned how to cook.
And then, you know, he's the type of person that you know, you can't judge a book by its cover, right? Like that whole cold exterior is to protect him because he's living with his mom who's been hurt, you know, parents divorced or what have you. First of all, she looked like she could be his sister. Let's get that out the way. And the other point I was going to say is Kitty, while watching this, especially after she said that thing about a positive attitude, was like, oh, Emily in Paris is the blueprint to this freaking show.
That is such a good comparison. Even when the sky is falling, you put your heels on and you put a smile on your face and you make it work.
American can-do attitude. You're in a foreign country and you apparently are catnip to the people that are around you because everybody wants you for some reason.
Ooh, Emily. Y'all go back and listen to those recaps. We did season 1 and season 2. Baffling at a certain point. Baffling. Let's be real. That's why certain people have that whole main character energy because they watch things like that and then it becomes their personality, right? Of thinking this all is mine. This world is mine because, you know, whatever. I'm not going to go too deep. Anyway. So Minho got super humbled in this episode too, which was so funny to me because Kitty's mashed potatoes ran through this man. Little does she know that a lot of Asians are lactose intolerant because they just don't have a lot of dairy in their diet, right? So she had all types of lactose. Produced
and force fed. So yes.
Yeah. She had all types of lactose in these mashed potatoes. And that poor boy shit on himself in a bush.
Oh, I feel so sorry for him.
But so humbling because he thinks he is a superstar. Like the way the little girls fall over him at school and stuff, and he just chuckles and, you know, looks to the side and, you know, about to go on this date with the up and coming star, I forget, actress, singer, whatever she was.
K-pop and training. Like they still do the training thing in their music industry. So yeah. I thought he was a K-pop star. I was like, is he somebody? Like, I need to know because he is definitely swaggy.
He is, but like I said, that humble pie he ate was actually very satisfying to me. I got some good chuckles. She was like, "Poopy baby, is that you?" Kitty also revealed her suspicions to Professor Finnerty about thinking, you're my brother, think my mother is your mother. And he reveals to her that he knows for sure that Professor Lee is his biological father. That's why he came to Kiss in the first place. And also a part of this Chuseok episode, Yuri, who I had been on the fence about, because again, I didn't like the way she had been acting and treating Day and all that. It seemed like she was making nice with him and his family. And then she hijacks a gift from Kitty to him. So she was back on my shit list for that.
She is what we call a morally gray character, right? Like
she's definitely
does what she needs to do.
She's definitely always operating out of her own self-interest, and that bothers me.
And that's most villains.
Very true. Very true. Complicated though, because she's a child and because she is also being suppressed with her truth, right? And so gray. There is a lot of gray.
This actress is 30 years old in real life.
I believe it, because how many shows and things have we watched over the years where you got the main characters who are playing high schoolers and they're 35 years old? I mean, you have the one lady who doesn't age. Beyonce's now half stepsister.
Lawson, Bianca,
who's been playing a teenager for like 30 years and still looks phenomenal. Okay.
Exactly. And she's in her 40s now.
Yes. She was playing a teenager still on Pretty Little Liars. Okay. It's crazy. Kitty's love life gets more complicated when Minnow, to your point, you called it, developed feelings. He was having sex dreams about her. And then she starts crushing on Yuri. And in a strange twist, in case y'all didn't know, these two actors are real life siblings.
Who?
Yuri and Minnow are siblings in real life. They are brother and sister.
They have different names. Okay.
There was a video on Instagram with them talking about it and the fact that there was like scenes where they were uncomfortable because the other one was there and all that sort of thing.
I love that.
Yeah, it was interesting. What did you think about these new developments in Kitty's love life?
I think it's fascinating. I think the show is geared to Generation Z. We all know that there is an openness to this next generation when it comes to conversations of sexuality and identity and exploring new things. And so for me, I was here for Minnow. I was not expecting the Yuri thing, but again, Yuri must also exude this this essence that attracts people to her. So and Kitty is out here still finding herself. So
yeah, she's a teen. She's discovering new things about herself, but also she got to see Yuri in her element, right? Because Yuri's out here DJing, living her best life. Even though I have to say that dance break number that she and her friends did, that didn't
was underwhelming.
That
agreed.
I was like, of all the teen movies and shows we've seen of like a good dance break,
I see it now. They're siblings. They're so cute.
Yes, girl. They're like, go back to the feed of the promotion for the show. And there was an interview between the two of them. And they were talking about how uncomfortable certain things were because they had to be like around for each other's like love scenes and stuff. And that's when I realized I was like, okay, this is weird.
But it's a whole article on Teen Vogue, you guys. It says Exo Kitties, Minnow and Yuri are real life siblings. So yeah. May 18, 2023. So very cool.
I wouldn't lie to y'all. I wouldn't lie to y'all.
No. I wouldn't say that. But it's just they have their picture side by side. And for whatever reason, I couldn't remember, from the show. And wow.
After sneaking into Professor Lee's house during detention to grab the yearbook from her mom's time at KISS, Kitty discovers it was actually Principal Lim, Yuri's mom, who had a baby with Professor Lee and is Professor Finnerty's bio mom, which explains why the principal had been so secretive about knowing Kitty's mom. Because remember when Kitty first showed up to school, she was like, hey, I think you knew my mom, X, Y, and Z. And she acted like she barely knew her. Like she's been acting so weird about the whole situation. And it was because she used her mom's name as her cover when she went to the hospital.
I still think, did they have a falling out or something? Because it just seemed like I would have expected a little bit more of a warm reception. You know what I mean?
I feel like it's kind of left in the air as to what happened. Obviously, they may have been leaving some room for more revelations that come up in season 2. But I get the feeling that there was a lot that mom was probably holding because she had this huge secret that she just didn't want to get out. So maybe if she felt like if she told Kitty, oh, yeah, I know your mom well and this and that, then there could be a digging deeper type of situation.
And that secret has been something she has kept silent for a very long time. So she is very good at keeping things shut.
Exactly. Very close to the chest. Yuri also had joined in on the shenanigans because she was hoping to find some dirt on her mom, let's be honest. And she ended up discovering her mom was responsible for getting her girlfriend, Juliana, sent away.
Again, it says a lot about that family. One, on how Yuri reacted to that viral video of her father. And she laughs like, yes. What? And then when she wanted to find out, quote unquote, the truth, is to use for ammo. What?
She said, I want to take her down.
What type of family dynamic is that? Is this secession?
A little bit. I think when you have the type of relationship it seems like she has with her parents where, I mean, I think her mom at least was trying, whereas her dad was just a monster, in my opinion, and only cared about himself and only cared about the like family image. I think the mom, the way she went about it was like, it's always a give and take. Like, in order to get my love, you have to give this and all of that. So I feel like it became a very transactional relationship and I think, you know, Yuri resented that. Like, oh, I'm going to take your credit card and you need to do X, Y, and Z. Oh, you know, she knew it wasn't going to be acceptable for her to be gay because it wasn't good for the family. And so now I have to fake and pretend like I have this other boy that I like. And then y'all use him. Remember, it's the mom's idea to use Dave for the PR stunt.
All the pun work. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was complicated family dynamics for sure. Yuri also ends her fake relationship with Day, freeing him to finally be with Kitty. But listen, Kitty has been so focused during the whole season on her love life, on being a little matchmaker still, on uncovering her mom's past. She completely neglected her studies, Laura. She's about to fail out of this school.
She was already behind.
Behind. How many times do people say you need to be studying? How many times? Don't you have hit them books?
You know, as much as Kitty is endearing, she was kind of annoying at times throughout this season. And it's like, you are in everybody's business but yours, sis. Like, sit down somewhere.
And the business you're focused on is not the one that's going to keep you here. You're focused on your relationship with Day. You're focused now on this little crush on Yuri. You're focused on your mom. You know, this is school.
Your professor's paternal relationship.
This is school, ma'am. Everybody else is taking time out to go do what they need to do. You falling asleep in class, that wasn't your fault. But at this point, you fell in all your classes, all of your classes. The gang helps her study for finals, including an extra credit dance with Yuri that went completely left. Now, let me say something about this whole dance number and big confrontation. Yuri had some nerve How you gonna get upset that Kitty did not tell you about your brother and you have been lying to her the entire season and kept her boyfriend away from her?
Since day one.
Listen.
There's been several pot calling the kettle black moments throughout the season, but this one to me was just like, really, sis? Like, you, it's the audacity for me. But again, Yuri is very self-centered in all things. And so, and also it's like, can we finish this dance, please? Because I need all the points I can get so I can pass.
I'm trying to stay in school. I'm just trying to stay in school. As we're wrapping this season, though, Delora, truths, as they usually do, get revealed, right? Principal Lim breaks the news about her son to the fam. Yuri comes out to her mom. And Kitty tells Day that she actually has feelings for Yuri. Any of these revelations, hit harder than any of the others to you in terms of, not thinking that someone was necessarily going to act on something or tell the truth or any of that? Or did you feel like all of this had come to a head by the time we're reaching the end of the season?
I feel like everything was coming to the head, especially with the interaction between Kitty and Day, right? I think whether it's Yuri, whether it's Minnow, whether, it's her being by herself, I don't think her relationship with Day was going to last. And sometimes, hey, we are with people for a season or a lifetime. You never know, right?
What did Minnow say? A reason, a season, or a lifetime? Is that what his little thing was after he...
Yep. And then with the awkward family reunion, I want to know if there's still sparks going on between Professor Lee and the principal, because it's not every day you hire your baby daddy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And again, the shell, the mask that Principal Lim was able to have on her face most of the time to kind of cover that, I think there's definitely still some sparks. And leave your husband, ma'am, please, in season 2. Leave your husband. The way he was talking to her and belittling her.
It's like, why? But knowing her, she probably got with him because she probably felt like, he's strict, he's contained, it's very transactional, right? As you mentioned previously. And so she probably expected from him. It could be a cultural thing as well. I almost wonder if she felt like she deserved someone like him because he was the complete opposite of the young man that Professor Lee apparently was, one who was a quote, creator and aspiring artist.
Or that was who her parents liked for her, or any number of things could have been the case when they first got married. Or he could have been a different man. And this is who he has turned into over time. Divorce that man, please. I have no, I can't give him anything. Let him go.
Not a thing.
Let him go. But I do hope that they're able, at first I was worried that Professor Finnerty was really gonna go back to Australia and that family dynamic was never going to get a chance to form.
Yeah. But I don't blame him though, because it was like climbing Everest, trying to find answers, and you get close and then you get turned around. And the way she played him was not okay.
Well, even Professor Lee, when he was trying to get to know Professor Lee, and Professor Lee is like, see, this is why I never had children. You know what I'm saying? You just getting shot down, pow, pow, from both sides. Poor thing. Yeah. So at least, if nothing else, if nothing else, Yuri being completely innocent in it would have probably tried to, once she found out, have a relationship with him. But now it seems like hopefully the 4 of them will be able to, figure things out and have some type of a relationship and dynamic. To the Kitty and Day situation, bruh, I don't know. I think because they had been together for so long, I felt like I never got to know them as a couple for real. We had a little bit of time, but it was always overshadowed by this.
Okay, Lisa and Lawrence.
And that's how I feel. we loved when we finally in Insecure got a chance to really see them together. And it's like
in their element.
Yeah, I think we would have rooted for Kitty and Day maybe if we had gotten a chance to really see them together, happy, and not had this whole Yuri situation in the middle of it.
Right.
But I don't want Kitty to be suppressed in love and who she truly is and exploring that either. So if Day is not that person for you, then yeah, you're just gonna have to let him go. And that was a great love for you as a child. And, you know, we all move on as an audience and it is what it is. But unfortunately, you know, as we're wrapping the season 2, it doesn't seem like she's going to end up being with Yuri because Yuri's still focused on Juliana coming back and Juliana coming back from being in London and all of that. So
but the jealousy was creeping in.
She did the utmost for her, though, to get her in touch with Juliana, above and beyond.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's talk about Florian real quick, Q's boyfriend. So they had a whole little cute relationship throughout this season.
Yes.
Little French accent, cutie. But Florian was also distracted by their relationship, and his parents are in the midst of a contentious divorce. So he cheats during finals to keep his grades up so he doesn't get pulled out of school, stealing the top spot from Day, which jeopardizes his housing scholarship, like his room and board scholarship. Do you feel like Q, because Q was kind of already feeling some type of way, like ethically about it, but do you think that Q should do something more now that he knows that there are actually consequences to Florian cheating for his friend?
Ooh, I don't know if I should use the Negro spiritual. They ain't got nothing to do with me, right? Like, I don't know. It's a tough call. Yes, he could be a whistleblower and then, you know, face the consequences of his personal life and his potential first love, or he can go on and have the guilty conscience of knowing what really happened. I think it's just a character decision that cute little Q is gonna have to make, and I don't feel like making it for him, so I don't know.
Girl, he is in between a rock and a hard place in this situation for me. Like, you love Florian, but Day is your guy. Like, that's one of your best friends.
Bros before hoes, you know?
That's tough. Well, I think we're gonna have to wait to see how this gets resolved in season 2. Poor Q. So Miss Kitty ends up passing her finals, but she still gets expelled from KISS for violating them school rules by living in the boys' dorm. But another little caveat, another little thing thrown in at the end of the season, right? Good old Minnow is sitting right next to her for that trip back to LA. And Delora, this man tells her, I think I've fallen in love with you. Maybe a little bit. Maybe a lot.
I love everything about this. Everything.
Delora, where is your loyalty?
Team Minnow.
Delora,
all the way.
Where is your loyalty? She just broke up with Day, his best friend as well. Where is you don't feel like he should be loyal to Day and be like, hey, at least I'll let this breathe?
Team Minnow. And it means to lovers, baby. They are the best kind. I love it. I love it.
I just think it's funny too, because he was the main one saying, I mean, y'all was just little pen pals. You know what I'm saying? Like, this wasn't even never a real relationship over here. I feel like that's gonna be what he says when they get back from their little break and they're hand in hand, and he has probably taken his relationship with Kitty to the next level. It's gonna be like, y'all was just pen pals anyway.
For him to be, again, the snarky one in the group, his morals are pretty clear. And I feel like he's like, you lied for her for a semester, so they ain't got nothing to do with me.
It's all fair game.
To do with me.
You made me fall in love with her because you had her living with me. Okay, that's what happened. You put her in the dorm with me. What you expect was gonna happen? No, that's gonna be an interesting conversation though for season 2, because I don't think Day's just gonna be like, oh, okay, that's cool. You know what I'm saying?
She has 3 potential love interests in this group.
Girl.
Like, giving major Emily in Paris vibes also. Has there ever been a show that had so many people on somebody's tail like this?
Probably. I can't think of one at this very moment. But what's going to kill me too is, in season 2, they're going to have to insert probably yet another one. Because then this probably going to end up coming down to like her and Minnow. So then you got to throw another wrench back in it. So then there's going to be some other new cute boy that's at the school, or cute girl in her case.
For Never Have I Ever. So yes.
And in the season 4, he is such a cutie too. I hate that he's
from Love Victor.
I sure
and Q is from Love Victor
I
too.
sure do. But he is my flavor. Let me just say
gorgeous.
That.
Gorgeous. I mean, these gorgeous young Gen Z is gonna be all right. They're gonna be all right.
And on the little press run, he had like a full year, and I was like, "Thank you," because now you look like a grown man, and I can lust after you for real now.
With a clean conscience.
If I saw you in the street, we here, baby. We here.
I love it.
So my last question for you before I get your final thoughts on XO Kitty is, were you disappointed that we didn't have any cameos from Laura Jean, Margot, or Peter in this series? Not even a FaceTime.
Yes, very disappointed. I thought it, before I saw the series, Noah showed up to the premiere. And so I watched the whole series, and not near one showed up. Obviously, a name drop here and there. But I did think it was sweet and endearing that Noah showed up to support the young actress in real life. And I was thinking like, oh, should Lana have been there? But then in some ways, I think it was great because this is, this young actress time to shine. And we don't, want any of the spotlight to go away from her. So I think with that, I think it was okay that she didn't show up.
I definitely feel like she could have had a FaceTime with Noah, with Peter in the show, as like getting advice or something to show like the continued development of their relationship, because they had always been so close. So I feel like that would have been cute. I mean, Noah has been on Netflix's payroll for a while.
But they are in an international environment.
Come on, y'all. Give me just a cameo. Because again, I know we're still set in this world, but I would have loved just kind of that additional like connection. That would have been fun. So we'll see. Maybe in season 2, we'll get some additional cameos. So Delora, give me any final thoughts you have on XO Kitty. And again, any thoughts you have, what you're hoping to see in season 2 beyond you being Team Minnow.
Team Minnow. Team Minnow. Team Minnow. Thank you.
That's it for your final thoughts?
It really is.
Well, y'all heard it here, okay?
I look forward to the continued relationship with Q, even though his, story is definitely beefing up. Maybe he'll have another love interest come swooping by, and so him breaking up with Florian won't be so bad. In terms of Day, it's going to be really interesting to see what's going to go on with him, because he's hit twice as hard. He's no longer in the number 1 spot. He no longer has his girl. So hopefully in the next season, he finds some joy.
Yeah, he had a tough season, didn't he? He had a tough one.
Yes, he did. Very interested to see the family dynamics. I think something's going to go on between old flames, i.e. second chance love between the principal and the professor. And I want the Australian Bay to have a girlfriend. I love to see that for him. So, yeah.
I feel like they're going to bring in someone to be like a teacher or something as his love interest. Kind of like what they did with Never Have I Ever. I know we're using that again, but I feel like that's what the type of situation is going to be. But I really have,
or a counselor or something. I don't know.
Yes,
but definitely working at school.
Yeah, because you don't have much of a social life probably like that outside of that. But yeah, I don't think I really have much to add. I do hope again that the family between like Principal Lim and Yuri and Alex and all that, like I hope they're able to like have some resolution and like move forward and be able to get to know each other and all that. And I know you're Team Minnow. I like Minnow a lot, but I think that there's going to be some exploration with Kitty with her sexuality that is going to be had more.
Absolutely.
In season 2. I don't think it's going to be with Yuri. I think Yuri is over here at the moment with Juliana, but I think there's going to be some other things that have to go on, because you can't just be like, oh, she liked one girl and then it's dead. Like, I just don't think that's going to be the case. So,
but to your point, you know, that pivotal conversation she had with her dad, it's like, is she bi? Is she pansexual? Like, is she, you know, attracted to the energy?
She's figuring it out. Yeah, she's figuring it out for herself.
With that being said, it could, you know, be someone else, but I don't know. It should be interesting, but Team NO.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for sticking with us for this recap of XO Kitty. Let us know if you guys have any thoughts. Let us know. I'm going to do a post to see whose team you're on in terms of the love life of our main character. So excited for season 2 for sure. Looking forward to following this and seeing what happens. And that's about it, Delora. Let's go ahead and get into these hidden gems for the week. What you got?
All right, Ashley, I have 2 hidden gems. So the first one is a Disney Plus series. It's called Pretty Freakin' Scary. It premiered earlier this month. Again, children television. It's giving That's So Raven just a little bit in terms of a lead young woman of color who has something crazy supernatural happen to her. And she's in, I think she's in high school, maybe like a freshman or so. And her gang of friends are always figuring out ways to get out of and into trouble. My daughter and I binged it very quickly. There are more episodes to come. We binged the first 7 episodes. I guess the next episode 8 is going to be available on July 7th, but it's fun and it's full of, you know, kids of color, and the subject matter is kind of heavy because the girl, quote, falls into a manhole, but she technically doesn't die, but she has a deal with the Grim Reaper. So it's kind of insane, the premise, but it still is a fun show. I don't know how to explain it. I love crazy supernatural type of shows, and this is one of them. So Pretty Freakin' Scary. That's the name of the show. My second hidden gem is music. So it is a rapping duo named Flyana Boss, and they currently have this song that's pretty popular on social media called You Wish. It is a bop. They are young women who are very clever with their raps. One of my favorite freaking lines of this song is, I'm made of sugar, spice, caliculawn, and cinnamon. I'm like, if that's not Black girl magic, I don't know what is. Talking about me and my besties are the same like a synonym. I love it, love it, love it. And essentially they're saying, you can never, 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 ever get like me. I love it. So I'm looking forward to seeing more from them. And yeah, Ashley, what are your hidden gems?
I just have one for this week, guys. It is a movie that I stumbled on Peacock called Polite Society. Stars one of our Umbrella Academy alums, actually. This film focuses on a teenager named Rhea who believes she must save her sister Lena from her upcoming wedding. I thought I knew what this film was going to be when I started it, and I was so wrong. There are so many twists and turns. Rhea is this aspiring stunt woman, and her sister is an artist and kindred spirit in terms of, you know, thinking outside the box and outside the lines of, you know, being women and there's in society and all these things of what they should do, whatever, getting married off, all of that. But it definitely took a turn, and I was thoroughly entertained by it. It was very like
love it,
caper type and kidnappings and all sorts of shenanigans. So it was just a pleasant surprise of a film. So that is Polite Society on Peacock. And that is it that is all, guys. Thank you for sticking with us. We are taking a break for the holiday and for Delora to thoroughly enjoy her birthday festivities. And we will be back the week after with more with our headlines and hot topics and all of that good stuff. So we will see you guys then. Have a great time, no matter what you choose to do. If you choose to celebrate, because I know not all of us do these days. So live y'all best lives.
Love y'all. Bye.